Welcome back, you beautiful people, and we are back and at Goodwood again. I wasn't going to be back here for a while, but Seb has put another race on, but tonight is a handicap race. And if you don't know what handicap is, that's where the fourth cat start first, then third cat, second cat, cat 1 and elites. And although I'm a cat 2, I am joining the elite and cat 1s tonight because I think they were low on numbers, and Seb asked if I wouldn't mind going just to bring the numbers up, because I think there's only 7 of us in that. And I believe there's like 40 in the other ones. So we're going to get signed on. There's Matty already in front. Bit serious with the disc wheel. But lovely evening, Goodwood, the wind's looking good. So we get signed on, see Sue, get our numbers and go and have some fun. We'll see you in a minute. So just got signed up, and usually these Goodwood races, they're not done by chips, it's just done by numbers. But tonight we've got chips, which are actually really good because you can look later on at the lap times and all that sort of thing and see exactly the finish position, because sometimes the finish is so close they're almost guessing, where at least with the chip you can see exactly where we finished. But look at this weather, absolutely stunning. Flags aren't blowing as bad as I thought the windsock's saying, so we're going to go get kitted up, and I've got a new helmet I'm going to try out tonight, so let's go have a look at that. So I want to show you my new helmet. Matthew's ready in his. He's got a black one. Now let's show you my special white one. So yeah, thought I'd give one of these helmets a go. They seem to be doing well in the world tours and that, and is there any watts saving I can do on my unaero self, then we'll give this a go. So yeah, it's used in road races, but on a TT, because it's covering the ears, you're not allowed to use it. Or, well, you're allowed to use it, but you've got to go in a TT class. So yeah, we'll give this a go, and I'll see how it goes tonight. I think we're on in 5 minutes. We've not warmed up, we turned up late. We're just going to go have some fun, eh, Matt? Yep. Just going to send it. Let's go. So here we are back racing, back at Goodwood, and we are straight in with it. So yeah, like I said, this is a handicap race, and the fourth cats have gone first, then the third cat, second cat, and then our cat. There's 8 of us in this category 1 elite group. There's 8 of us, so this is straight in on the first lap. You know, just going to show you how we're working. We work really well together. You know, we pulled through and then off and then slipped in behind, as you can see. And the wind was slightly always on our right on this side of the circuit, and then up this bit was so fast. And so we are 14k in, which I think is the 3rd lap. So yeah, we're working well together, you know, through and off. At this point, I think a couple of the lads were getting a little tired. You know, we'd been averaging, you know, 55k an hour. So like there, 2 of the lads pulled off at the same time. So the plan at the start was always to try and do between 10 and 20 seconds pulls. So I've just done my pull, I'm on the front, and you know, just giving it some beans to try and pull the lads, because this section was the heaviest headwind of the circuit. So if you could get a good bit of protection, and slightly to, as you're looking at me on my right, you had a bit of protection. So there's me on the front pulling through, and there's the lads, and this I thought was a good view, watching the boys pull through. Some really strong riders in this group, and actually the lad who won was part of our group, which was nice. You know, fair play to the lad. It's actually him in front who's just gone through. So yeah, jump back in, and I think we start to catch the other lads, and this is it. That next lap, or 2 laps later, which I think was the 5th lap, we caught everyone. So here we've just caught on, and there's a lot of riders. As you see, I tried to ride through just to almost show you just how many riders were on the circuit. I think there's 70 of us racing, mostly the cat 3s. I think they had the biggest group. So yeah, you can see there's just riders upon riders, and to be fair, a lot of people just sat in and just let the race happen, where a few of us really wanted to make some moves happen. And I always like to try and make moves happen, be on the front, push it, really go, try and get a breakaway going. I knew a couple of the lads who were strong in here would, you know, if I went, would jump on. So yeah, You know, that's been what, nearly 30 seconds, a minute, and I still haven't caught the front. So going into this chicane, this is a good feeler every lap. If we went into a sprint finish, this is just how many people would be going into the chicane at like 50 to 60 kilometers an hour. So I've had to brake a little bit, because I'm not saying other riders are a bit sketchy, but it can be. And this is halfway into the race. This big lull happened and everyone sort of sat up, and I think this is actually when 3 lads got away, and I'll be honest, no one knew, but I moved to the front in a second and I see the 3 lads ahead, and I just assumed everyone else had seen them go and wanted to chase them. But what happened, you see, is like here, everyone's sort of chilling, a little group's gone, but actually I tried to break across to a second group and everyone's sat chilling, you know, no one's really putting effort. So I find a little gap here, bit of a tailwind, and I just crack on. I put the power down, try to sprint away, because like I say, we're halfway through the race, so people will be a bit tired. Try and get a bit of a gap. So look around and see there's a few on my wheel, and yeah, just, you know, put the hammer down, try and get aero, and I can just see the lads in front. So I just flick the elbow, another lad comes through, and you know, these lads, I don't know whether they're dropping off, saw us come in, sprinted back on, and like this lad, you know, sprinted and then just pulled off. So I thought maybe he'd want to jump on our train. So yeah, we catch those lads, but I think there's still 3 lads up the front, and yeah, you know, we're pushing on, going pretty hard. I think there was 5. There's Matt, my teammate. So like I say, I didn't even realise they were up there, and we're just pushing on. You know, the thing is about this in breakaways, if you can just break that elastic, the other lads have got to work hard to get across to you. Like you just saw there, like me and this lad have been pushing on through from that back corner, and I believe he pulls off now, and I push through, and there was a couple of lads further on, and you know, whether they tried to go and catch the breakaway, but it didn't happen. You know, they sort of chill out a little bit. There's Matt trying to push on. That's why I love racing with Matt. He always gets stuck in. He's not one for sitting in, where there was a lot of people in this race, which is racing. You know, they just sat in and let the race happen. And then here we are, we're trying to push on, and you know, I'm doing my pull and I'm trying to flick through. There's a strong rider coming through. But what happens with breakaways and why they don't work, you know, someone pulls through and sits up just like that, and then it slows. You know, you only got to slow the pace by a couple of kilometers an hour, and there you go, another lad, he didn't pull through. So from the 10 of us that were there, only 3 have gone, and then it's all split up. And you know, that's how breakaways just don't happen, because if you keep consistent, like at the start, 8 of us, you know, we were doing 10-second pulls, and then the lad who didn't pull through then sprinted through, which didn't come to nothing, and then here come all the others. So yeah, when we sat up, or when our breakaway attempt didn't happen, all the other lads caught back on. So then this is another lap. This is where I'm like, you know, right, we got to go for it, because those 3 lads are getting away. I can see they're a bit further in front. Hands on the bars, you know what's going to happen. Let's go. And like you see, everyone sort of sat up chilling. And I thought, you know what? We got to go again. So here I am. A couple of lads jump on my wheel. I think there was 4 or 5 of us. You know, 4 or 5 can stay away quite easy. All you got to do is consistently work together. Even if you pull through and pull for 5 seconds and off, you know, it helps everyone in the bunch. So here I'm flicking the elbow, you know, I've been on the front 30 seconds, putting an effort in. This lad just doesn't pull through. You know, he pulls out and then pulls back in. I don't know if he realised, you know, being at the front is quite hard. And yeah, pull over again. You know, he pulls around, looks around. So someone has to come from further back to overtake him, to again slows down this breakaway attempt, or say breakaway, trying to catch the other lads. So there, I'm back on Matey's wheel. I've just done that big effort, and now I'm back on, well, almost back on the front. And you know, he's done his pull, and then I pull through again on the front. So you know, I've done quite a big effort. I look round and we still got quite a gap, and I was like, you know, push on. But that effort a minute ago is hurting the legs. You know, I've been on the front, off the front, back on the front, and these lads pull through. You know, I'm flicking the elbow. And this was with, I think, 4 laps to go. So I saw in this group, you know, this Alex, he's a really strong rider. I know if he's in the bunch, we're going to go well. So yeah, we pull through and off, and there's a couple of lads still back. And going into final chicane, you know, my turn on the front. See, we got a gap. It must be a few seconds, 5-6 seconds from the next group, and then the big bunch, and I flick the lads through. And for some reason, these 2 lads, it's again why breakaways don't happen, they just go either side. They don't pull through. I look around and see it doesn't happen, so I put effort in again, which is really why breakaways don't happen. You know, if they had pulled through even just for a little bit, it would have given me a bit of rest, the other lads. And so this is, you know, a lap later, this lad's done his pull. Again, it's pulled to the right, and it's a bit like, right, let's try and go again. I'm on the front again, eating headwind. This headwind here was pretty savage, and generally no one knew that 3 had gone away. It was quite mad, but I guess when it happened, it was into the sun. There was a lot of girls, there was other people on the course, and I don't think they knew that they were part of our race, so no one was focused on them. So this is the last lap, and I'll be honest, you know, I saw a lot happen in that race, but I generally forgot or didn't hear that this was the last lap. So I was almost like catching a breath, and then someone said to me, this is going into the sprint finish, and I realised how far back I was. And earlier you saw how long it took to get to the front. So I try making a bit of a move now, round the outside of everyone. And still, I think I'm in about, you can see how many riders there, about 30th. And some lads start to put a sprint in. And basically, wrong place, wrong time. I was further back than I wanted. And we're going to the sprint finish, and you see into the chicane, we get so close to the barriers. And the speeds we're going, the data is a bit mismatched, but we're going about 60 kilometers an hour. And, you know, those barriers look, so close. And there, the sprint, you know, I knew I was way too far back. I put the sprint in, and then I just sat down. I was like, you know what? Nothing comes of being further back from the podium. You know, 5th I'd probably sprint for, but, you know, 10th and that. I'm just happy enough to roll through safe. Well, ladies and gents, the race is done. What a mad, mad race. Our group, the elite 1s and 2s, I think there was 8 of us. We caught everyone, I think, on the 5th lap. Attacks started happening and some lads got away, the gaps got closed, and then there was this weird moment that loads of the riders from a team sat up, and I don't think anyone realised that 3 lads got away. So I sprinted round and I did my absolute best to close it. I must have caught them and I wasn't closing, so I dropped back again. Basically from lap 5 or 6 till the finish, no one realised 3 lads were gone, and teams were sitting up. Me and Matt were trying to get away, but we kept getting closed down, and then everyone was sitting up. And I think some of the teams knew 1 or 2 of their riders were at the front. Going into the sprint finish, it's on the camera, thinking the race was there, the bunch sprint, but actually we were racing for 4th because 3 of the lads got away. And I'm not being funny, that chicane at that speed, we must have been going 60 odd kilometers an hour, and it was just chaos. But because I knew 3 were gone, I was a bit heart sunken, because I knew, you know, we weren't racing for the win. The boys played it well, got away, and that's the race. Did you have fun, Matt?
Yeah, it's a good workout.
Pretty wild out there.
Good workout.
How's your bunch working together, catching the third cats? Was it like some people sitting up?
Yeah, it was like, say there was 40 guys, 30 guys, probably like 6 or 7 were pulling.
Yeah. So that's the thing, our group was small, there's only 8 of us, so we were working really well together. And like I say, we caught the guys pretty quick, but then once we all got caught, there was a bit of a lull for a little bit, and then like I say, the 3 lads got away. And like I say, fair play to them. That's how you race. They done well. But obviously, none of the bunch, the other 40 riders in the race, didn't realise 3 were gone. So I say thanks to Seb for this race. It was a great one, handicap, and there's another race next week. So yeah, all in all, really good. Give it a thumbs up, like, comment, and I got a time trial tomorrow. And then, yeah, back here Tuesday and back here with Matt. But next week's a normal race, but apparently it's a lot of money here. Like, apparently, was it 1,200 quid prize pot? There's a lot of money anyway. So yeah, we're back. Great, thanks to Seb, all the Goodwood people and all the people that help out. See you later.